Welcome to Going Off Subject, a Jones College radio and TV production in association with Free State Records. In studio today with me, helping cast my bronze voice over your speakers, is producer Matt McGuffey. And today, our very special guest is Jones College men's basketball coach, Coach Newton Mueller. Coach Mueller, thank you so much for coming on today.
Hey, thank you for having me. I'm excited to be here.
Yes, sir. So this is really kind of a profile type thing. So let's learn a little bit more about you. Talk about your childhood. Where'd you grow up? What sports did you play? What was it like?
Yeah, so I'm from Memphis, Tennessee. Born, raised there, lived there most of my life. Went to a high school there called Briarcrest High School. It was really one of the elite high schools in the Memphis area, and had an opportunity to play basketball there for a man named Lee Smith. Did a great job of mentoring us, teaching us not only the game of basketball but about life, and really had a great experience while I was there. And I went to Briarcrest from kindergarten through 12th grade.
Okay, so did you play any other sports besides basketball, and what brought you to basketball?
Yeah, so great question. So yeah, growing up, I played multiple sports. I've always been the tallest. Didn't matter age group, I've always been the tallest. So my main sport growing up really was baseball. Baseball, tall, lanky. I was a pitcher. I was a first baseman. Could throw it pretty good. Played on a couple of really, really good teams with some great players. And I also played soccer. I played soccer. Legs were long. I could get out. I could run. I like to play that left wing. It's kind of funny. One thing people don't know about me is I'm left-handed and right-handed. So it just depends on what sport. Basketball, I shoot with my right hand. Soccer, I kick with my left foot. So kind of a little different. But those were the three sports that I played. I can tell you my junior year of high school, they wanted me to play football. And all the coach told me I needed to be is a receiver. Just needed to throw it up, and I needed to go get it. But at that point, I was pretty set that it was either going to be basketball or baseball when I went to college. And so those are three sports that I played growing up.
Okay, so you talk about you played multiple sports. I hear a lot of professional athletes talking about the benefits of playing multiple sports and not going just to one sport. That's kind of a big subject nowadays because you see a lot of kids with injuries, but I do think playing multiple sports helps you. What lessons did you take from a sport like baseball and soccer and apply them to basketball?
Yeah, so every sport has got their own uniqueness about them. And so you're going to learn a little bit about different sports and how you can apply those sports into another one. For example, soccer. When we talk about running and you translate that into basketball, I watched a soccer game the other day. For 90 straight minutes, a soccer player runs up and down that field.
Yeah.
And so for me, if you play soccer, the conditioning part of being disciplined enough to be able to run up and down the floor, you're able to translate that over into your sport, which for me is basketball. And now you're talking about you take long conditioning and you move it over to short conditioning. So it's kind of a two-part fold that you're able to do. I will tell you with football, just being a high school coach and sharing athletes, one of the biggest benefits from a football player to a basketball player is football player, if they come to basketball, they're going to learn how to be quicker on their feet because we do a lot of conditioning, a lot of short back and forth.
Yep.
And so it helps, with their skill work and their techniques of firing off the line, being able to get the ball in the running back position, exploding through, where vice versa, where our guys go over and play football, they're learning the toughness. They're learning to be bigger, faster, stronger, because in the sport of football, we know you got to be that way if you're going to be able to play. And so when our guys go play football, which I like because they go over there, and when we get them back, those guys are tough. So you put them in the paint area and you got to go rebound the basketball. Now you've got a guy who's been out on that football field and he's able to come back, and now he's got broader shoulders, bigger and stronger, and he's able to go rebound the basketball. So I think the benefit of playing multiple sports is really important. You heard me mention a second ago baseball or basketball. It used to be where you had to choose. And so I was as good a baseball player as I was a basketball player. But going into my senior year, I had to choose. And so I lost out on getting to play my senior year of baseball because I went to play basketball. And so I think putting the kids in multiple sports, not only does it keep them motivated, but also keeps them where they're active, they're not out doing other things, and they're having an opportunity to not only in just one sport, but multiple sports showcase an opportunity to give them a scholarship to move on to the next level. So for me, I learned a lot about all the sports that I played in.
Yeah, so you talk about choosing your senior year. Talk about the experience and what it was like working your way onto a college roster and how that process was. You're like your senior year of basketball in high school, finding out what college you're going to go to, stuff like that.
Yeah, that was difficult. I was a pretty good high school basketball player in the state of Tennessee, and matter of fact, I was at one point I was Mr. Basketball Player of the Year. Myself and another guy, we shared that title, and so coming out of high school, I had a lot of different offers. I'm talking about several Division I offers, several Division II offers. I had NAIA offers, you name it, it was there. I can tell you, at that point, my parents didn't understand the recruiting process. And so we didn't know how to navigate through it like we would today. And I really take what happened in my recruiting process to heart. And that's why you see so many of my kids excel, because if a kid can play, I'm not going to let them fall through the cracks.
Yeah.
What I mean by that is, I had an opportunity to play at different schools, so I took the visits. I took the visit to University of Memphis, took the visit to University of Tennessee, took the visit to University of Southern Mississippi. Those were three schools right off the bat that we took visits to. Well, I wanted to go to University of Tennessee in the beginning. And they had a coach, his name was Don DeVoe, and he actually got fired after he offered me the scholarship. So go back 30 years ago, you had to wait till the new coach came in, and he had to kind of look at the recruiting process and say, hey, we're going to honor this, we're not going to honor this. During that time frame, we didn't know. We didn't hear anything. So I went ahead and went on my recruiting visit to Southern Miss. I came back from Southern Miss, loved everything about it, loved the area, loved the town. My parents said, you're going to sign on your birthday. And so they did not go on this visit with me to Southern Miss, just me. So I get on an airplane in Memphis. Well, airplane ride from Memphis is 40 minutes, it seemed like, in the air from Memphis to Hattiesburg Regional Airport at the time. So I'm thinking the place is close, enjoyed it. I go back, I tell my parents, hey, Tennessee's not going to come through. I want to sign with Southern Miss. And they were like, all right, we're going to sign on your birthday. So end up signing on my birthday. I'm in the gym, got the TV cameras there, I'm doing some shots, and my coach walks out and he hands my parents about 40 letters. And so my dad says, hey, thanks, and my room was college letters all over the place. And so my dad's going through them. Well, there's one from Tennessee in there. So he opens up the letter, pulls it out, and it was the scholarship offer. And it had been sitting there on somebody's desk or in the mailroom for all that time. And so we called the NCAA back and said, hey, this is what happened. If we still want to go to Tennessee, can we do that? And they said, oh, certainly, Mr. Miller, your son can do that, but he's going to have to sit out for 1 year because he's already signed his national letter of intent. And so I took that lesson, and things happen in life for reasons. And I took that lesson now in my coaching career to make sure that I help players. It wasn't anybody's fault. It was just how that went down. And so it was a learning lesson for me, but my parents didn't understand the recruiting process. I was probably the first member of my family that was, going to play Division I basketball.
So when you say you help players, are you saying you mostly help families more than just players specifically? You help families with the process of recruiting? Yeah,
very good. So, and of course I'm leapfrogging here to talking about Jones, but when a family comes on a visit to Jones College, I not only tell them about our college and what we have to offer and what my program is about, I tell them what the recruiting process should look like, what they should see, what they should hear, what they should look for. And I tell them at the end of the day, hey, if Jones College isn't the place for you, I understand. My phone is always open. I'm always available to you, because if I'm recruiting your son, I'm invested in you and your family. So if you've got questions about another school or you don't understand something in the process, call me back, because nobody called my parents and explained to them the direction that we should have taken. So that's just a free bit of information that I give parents, because I don't want them to make a wrong decision, and I don't want them to be left out in the dark and say, nobody told me this.
Yeah.
And so I try to do a really good job at the end of my visit with every player that comes on campus of explaining what the recruiting process should look like for that mom, that dad, and that player that's sitting in front of us.
Yeah. So let's go back. You play in Chrissy. You end up at Southern. Talk about your college career. What was your freshman year like in college basketball compared to your senior year of basketball?
Yeah, so very difficult. Coming out of Briarcrest High School, I averaged 29.2 points a game. I thought I was that guy.
Yeah.
And Southern Miss offered me a scholarship, and so they bring me in, and man, I'm all excited about it. And Coach Turk, who was my head coach at the time, my assistants were Robert McGinnis and Ralph Moore. So they bring me in, and they asked me if I was interested in redshirting. And I said, redshirting? I said, Coach Turk, I averaged 29.2 points a game.
Yeah, I got this.
Yeah, I got this. And he said, well, a kid's first year, I'm not going to tell you have to redshirt. If you want to try to compete for minutes, you'll compete for minutes. And so, man, I'm all excited about it. And he said, but I just want you to know we recruited you for this certain spot, and you're playing behind an All-American. He's already been here for a year. He's probably going to be the greatest player that's ever played in school history. And he was like, I don't see many minutes there. And I said, Coach, I averaged 29.2 points a game. I think I can handle this. This is a true story. And again, it's another life lesson for anybody that's listening out there. My first year in college, I went from being probably the Tennessee Player of the Year to playing 43 total minutes. If you look, if you look at that in a college game, that's one full college game in 3 minutes. And I was furious. I was upset. I walked back to the coach's office, and he has exit meetings at the end of the year, and I said, I'm transferring. I said, I came down here to play basketball. And he said, whoa, 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 whoa. He said, let me take you all the way back to our first meeting. Did I offer you a chance to redshirt? I said, well, yes, sir. Did I tell you were going to play behind an All-American? I said, yes, sir. And he said, did I tell you probably weren't going to play much? And I said, well, yes, sir. And he goes, why are you in my office telling me you're going to transfer? And I said, because I want to play basketball.
Yeah.
And, everybody knows the story. The All-American in front of me obviously was Clarence Weatherspoon, who's now my assistant here at Jones College. We're great friends. But I kind of went not only to I call him Spoon. I went to Spoon, and I also went back to Coach Turk, and I said, what do I got to do to play here? What do I have to do to play here? He said, you got to lose 40 pounds, and you got to move from the 4 position to the 3 position. You got to be able to shoot the basketball.
Okay.
I went home to Memphis, Tennessee. They had a league called the Bluff City Classic. I got in the Bluff City Classic. I got a trainer. I lost the weight. I put the work in. I came back. I sat in Coach Turk's office, and I said, I'm not transferring. I said, and I'm going to play this year. And this is a true story. We opened the season against Alabama, at Alabama. One of the biggest games of our season. Everybody thought there was no way we had an opportunity to compete with them. They had Latrell Sprewell, several guys on their basketball team, Robert Ory.
Yeah.
I ended up starting in that basketball game at the 3 spot next to Spoon. And we ended up winning that basketball game 84-82. I think I had 7 points maybe in the basketball game. I just remember getting interviewed after the game. I had the headset on. I'm sitting at the table, and it hit me. It was, I didn't take the easy way out.
Yeah.
I had a head coach who told me what he expected out of me. I chose a different road. He got me back on the right road. I put the work in, and I come back, and I have an opportunity. Now, we shared minutes that year. I started some games, didn't start some games. But the moral of the story is when you're a high school basketball player and you think that you know everything, once you step onto a college campus, it's just all different. Mm-hmm. Everybody there is as good as you or better.
Or better, yeah.
And
there's a reason why they made it to the next level.
That's correct. And if you get there and you don't want to put the work in, you're not going to have an opportunity to play. So I use this slogan all the time here at Jones. I tell players sitting in my office and now that they're on campus, you say you want to play college basketball until it's time to play college basketball.
Show me.
And so that's kind of our motto when we bring kids into the office and we say, here's our day at Jones. And we show them what a day at Jones College looks like. And we're like, and we don't let up. Yeah. It's every single work day. Mm-hmm. Learning experience, yes. Back to my coaching career, kids all the time, I don't get an opportunity to play that much. And I'm like, hey, I've been there. I've done that. Let me explain to you. And then I show them how I worked. And then my senior year in college at Southern Miss, I got my opportunity.
Yeah.
Thankful to Coach Turk. I love Hattiesburg. Unbelievable place. Southern Miss, it made me become a man. They taught me valuable life lessons. So I'm really, really excited to be back in this area. It's like my coaching career kind of went full circle. And I'm right back here, 15 miles from where my college career started. And so very indebted to the University of Southern Mississippi.
So you talk about something where, we all like to say the world's very small. It's a small world out there. But when you're in athletics, it really isn't. It's a tough world to get into. And you talking about being a high school player, I think a lot of high school players have that problem where, like you said, I average 30 points per game. I'm going to start. I'm Mr. Man. But when you come to a college campus, and, I think what Jones exemplifies very well is people see junior college and they think lesser. When you go to a Jones basketball game, that's one of the most entertaining basketball games to go to because it's rough and tumble and it's high-quality basketball. And so I think what you're talking about is like it's a tough thing to get into. Don't think just because you're going to a junior college as well that you're going to something lesser. Like you're coming to a real basketball program where you got to work.
Yeah. I will kind of piggyback off that. I try to show our players every day. I probably get 50 highlight videos a day of a high school junior or senior begging for an opportunity to come here, whether that's, Coach, when is tryouts? Coach, can you come recruit me? Coach, here's my highlight film. What do I got to do to play at Jones? And so I tell our players all the time, we have 15 roster spots. Mm-hmm. You take that and you look at the 15 junior colleges in the state, go ahead and do the numbers. Now you take the 5 or 6 Division I schools that we have just in this area, do the number. There's not enough spots for all the people that want to play the sport. And so I tell them, you're blessed because you have talent and we saw something out of you and you're on this campus. Don't throw it away.
Yeah.
Don't throw it away. Come in, work extremely hard. But in high school, this is where the problem is. You don't have to work that hard a lot of times in high school if you're a great basketball player because you're just better than other people on your team.
You have that talent.
You got that talent, and when you show up on our campus, everybody throws the talent out the window.
It's time to work.
It's competition. It's time for work. So if you're that kid that shows up on this campus and we've recruited you and you become lazy, hey, I can't help it you're sitting over there on the end of the bench, even though you were a star in high school, because it's about work. It's about an attitude. And it's about effort. Those are just 3 things that I can't coach you. That comes from within inside of you. But I think the translation from high school to college right now, a lot of people just don't understand. I don't care. You are correct. This league, this state, our basketball is really good. Very good. We got Division I players on every single roster. We've got Division I coaches in this league. I mean, it's just a very, very good league. High entertaining, as you said. That's what I like here. When I did my press conference 3 years ago, I said, you're going to have fans that are going to want to pay to watch our style of play, and you're going to have players begging to want to get in the program. We average 88.5 points a game. We get up and down the floor. We got 7 guys that are in double figures. I mean, it's a fun style of basketball.
Oh, yeah. So let's talk about your coaching career. So you go play at Southern, successful at Southern. What made you change? What made you change from trying to get into the NBA, or was it a rejection from the NBA that caused you to coach? I mean,
yeah, I actually did go to the NBA Summer Pro League. I started in Atlanta. Went to a tryout there. Coach Turk was fortunate enough to kind of help me navigate through that. And then I was able to go out and to Los Angeles and stayed there for a couple months and played in what they, at that time, it was not nearly like it is now, but it was just the NBA Summer Pro League. got an agent while I was out there. Wanted to give it an opportunity. Didn't get on in the NBA. Actually, did get drafted in what was called the CBA to Sioux Falls City, South Dakota.
Oh,
and I was sitting on the beach in Los Angeles, California.
That's a change.
And I just decided I'm done. I don't know if I couldn't make it at that time. I probably didn't get very good advice, and decided to come home. And my dad owns multiple businesses at that time, and so I thought, hey, this is what I'm going to do. I'm going to get in the family business and kind of go that route. And but the game of basketball I just loved, and it was just something about it that it kept drawing me back. And so decided to get into coaching, and I will tell you one of the main reasons I got into coaching, it goes back to the people that molded me. Lee Smith at Briarcrest, still the best coach, in my opinion, that I've ever played for, and that's a high school coach. Coach Turk, the way that he carries his program himself, it showed me what it was like to go from childhood to adulthood. Those two men really helped me in the game of basketball. And the way I saw both of them run their program, I wanted to combine it together, and I wanted to start doing mine. So I got into coaching. A lot of people know, maybe not around here, but a place called Germantown High School is where my first success really was. That was located right there. It's like a suburb of Memphis, Tennessee. Coached 3 really good players. I tell people this all the time. I coached a kid named Ian Clark. Ian Clark, star for me at Germantown, goes to Belmont University, wins a NBA championship with the Golden State Warriors. He was spot minutes between Steph Curry and Klay Thompson. Played. Very, very good player. The second guy I coached, his name is Todd Mayo. His brother is O.J. Mayo, who used to play in the NBA, played for the Memphis Grizzlies. And then the third player I coached, his name was Austin Hollins. Austin Hollins' dad is Lionel Hollins. He was the head coach of the Memphis Grizzlies, the Brooklyn Nets. He most recently was the assistant coach of the Los Angeles Lakers. I will tell you that man had a big influence on my career because at the time his son was a senior, he was out of basketball at the time, between jobs. And he was at every single basketball game. He sat right behind my bench. I'll just never forget it. Had a book with him, and he was writing all the time throughout the course of the season. I was thinking he was just writing stuff about his son that he was seeing during games. But in all actuality, he was looking at the play calls that I was given. He was looking at the defense I was given. He was looking at the presses that I was given. When that season was over, it was snowing. We lost out. I'm at home. It was snowing. And he called me on the phone and said, "Coach, can we meet?" And I said, "Well, sure. What are we meeting about?" He said, "I just want to go over a few things." He sat down with me, and he opens that book up. I'll never forget it. And he said, "Coach, your offense started on the right side of the floor 90% of the time. Why did your offense start 90% of the time on the right side of the floor? You got the left side of the floor. If somebody's scouting you, they're going to say, this is what Coach is doing." He was able to, I guess the moral of the story was he was able to broaden my young coaching career of how I needed to better prepare our basketball team. And we were 22-6, but he was still able to show me things that maybe I wasn't looking outside the book. Just how to run a program and doing things the correct way. He was able to show me that. But those 3 guys, let me just tell you, I was young, I was dumb, I didn't know what I was doing, but I had players. And so I tell people all the time, you got players, you're going to look really good, and you're going to be a good coach. And they kind of springboarded me to a place right there in Olive Branch, Mississippi called Center Hill High School. Center Hill, I got there, they were 3-27. We built it into a powerhouse. There's no question about it. We won the state championship in 2019 in Class 5A. Played our arch rival 2 miles down the road, who's the best high school players I've ever seen on a team together. Had 4 Division I guys. DJ Jeffries, he goes to Memphis, ends up going to Mississippi State. Cam Matthews, he's at Mississippi State. Other couple guys, they end up at Jackson State. By far, best team I've ever seen. It's a heated, hated rivalry. The first 2 times we played them during the year, we got beat. The third time we play them in the district championship game, they're up 2. We're trying to score. Ball goes out of bounds. No time's on the clock. The officials huddle together, and they put .3 on the basketball scoreboard. Well, if you're a basketball guy, you know .3, you have to throw it and try to tip it in, really, to win the game. Mm-hmm. So Olive Branch is out there trying to figure out what to do. We take the ball out of bounds, and our guy squirts to the three-point line, and the guy throws it. He turns and lets it go, and I see that the red lights around the goal have not gone off yet. The ball goes in. The officials call it good. We stormed the floor. The rivalry was so big, they had to take it out of a high school gym, and we put it at Northwest Mississippi Community College. We win the game. It's a mess. They're saying we didn't win. We're saying we won. It goes to the MHSAA, and they said, hey, the officials on the floor had the final judgment. Mm-hmm. So we're now district champions. We both take our separate paths, and we end up in the state championship game in Jackson, Mississippi. The entire town, city, they all from DeSoto County flood down here. It's the biggest game that everybody has seen. And we were at practice, and I'm sorry if I'm long on this, but we were at practice at Jackson State, and we just finished up, and one of our guys is on social media. He's like, Coach, you got to look at this. So I go over and I look, and Olive Branch has got black shirts with gold .3 on the front of their shirts. And on the back, it's got the Coliseum, and it says, we take what we want. My guys huddled back up, and they got in the middle and said, there's no way. We've got to show people that game wasn't a fluke. So we're getting ready to get on the bus. I told my assistants, sit down, shut up, and let's just let the kids play. We went into that Coliseum. There was no way we were going to get beat. We led from the beginning of the game to the very end of the game. Ended up winning the state championship 75-73. Incredible feeling. Awesome job by our guys. And then the next year we were able to get back. We went back-to-back into the state tournament. And then what I would say was probably not my best year at Center Hill. We won 22 games. We got beat in the Elite Eight. And I was frustrated about it. And for years and years and years, I've been praying to be a college basketball coach. After the state championship, I just knew that's when it was going to happen. That's not what God had in store for me. I try to use my platform to give Him the praise, honor, and glory all the time. So, but I was getting frustrated. I'd given a age number. If I don't make it to college basketball by this time, then I'm just going to ride it out. And my phone rang, and somebody said, "Are you interested in being a college basketball coach?" And I'm like, "Oh yeah, I'll be there right now."
Yes.
And it wasn't what I thought in the beginning. I thought it was a different school, and they were like, "Hey, it's Jones College." We got to remember, 30 years ago, we used to come over here at nighttime with Southern Miss basketball guys, and we'd play Jones guys when nobody was out here on the court. And I'm like, I don't know about that in the beginning. And I said, well, I'm going to go through the process. Went through the process, obviously came here for my interview, and was absolutely blown away with what Jones College looks like today. Incredible opportunity, great people. I ended up taking the job, and here I am at Jones College.
Yeah, so you talk about transitioning from a high school basketball player to a college basketball player. What's the transition from high school coach to a college basketball coach?
Great question. People ask me that all the time when I go to speak at different events. I will tell you there's a couple things. Number one, in high school, you've got your kids every day in class from whatever it is, 8 to 3:45. You practice until maybe 5:30, and then you send them home.
Yeah.
It's their parents' problem. So whatever kind of issues they might have, well, they got a mom and dad and a family that's there. When they come to college, you are their family. So I'm now responsible for these young men 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, 365 days out of the year, and that's a big responsibility. It's one that I don't take lightly. I know I've got to mold these guys, but to just have them all the time, that was a big thing for me. Time management with our players, trying to show them and navigate, hey, Monday you might have one class. Tuesday you might have 3 classes. How are you going to navigate your time, throughout the course of the day? Those were 2 big things for me. As far as the game of basketball, hey, basketball to me is basketball.
Yeah.
I took my style at high school. I brought it here. Our first year, we started 10-0. We got ranked all the way to 10th in the country. I say that with not boasting, but with pride, because I didn't know what to expect. I really didn't. I mean, I came to the college program and I'm like, I got to be successful. I got to be successful. How are we going to do this? But my rules, the way I run my program, it's about discipline. And I tell people this all the time. Kids want to be disciplined. They act like they don't, but they really do. And to me, I can take the most disciplined team and I can beat talent all day, every day. So I told Dr. Smith in my interview process, if you're wanting me to go get the number 1 player in the state every year, you probably got the wrong guy. I'm going to get the right player in the state, which fits my program and what we need them to do. And, Jones being a special place, I know the expectations here, the expectations to win, but also the expectation is our kids have got to go to class. We've got to have good young men on campus that represent Jones College. And so those are just some of the lessons that I've learned from high school to college.
Yeah. So pretty much kind of my last question. How do you think Jones has impacted your life and your career at this point? Yeah,
first of all, it's humbling. I'm excited when I go places and tell people I'm the head basketball coach at Jones College. Has it been difficult? Sure, it's been difficult. There have been times that I've questioned even myself, and my wife has always looked at me and I said, did I make the right decision? Did I make the right decision? And she said, we said we were going to walk through these doors until God closed the door. He didn't close it. It was still open. He has you here for a reason. So quit questioning yourself and do the job. And that's been one of the things I've learned. But the impactfulness of a community that starts with our president, we have a president here who supports every student, whether it's a student or an athlete on this campus. He is available. He is there for you. On the other side of this, he's there for his coaches. He's there for his teachers. So it's a trickle-down effect, not only from Dr. Smith, but then, Dr. Kane's the guy that hired me. Really, he's the guy that went through the process. I've told him many times, I'm going to make you look golden because you're the guy that gave me the opportunity. Yeah. So I really appreciate Dr. Kane. But there's just other people on this campus, from Chris Robinson to Sam Jones, who was one of my teammates at Southern Miss, that have been, influential to me on this campus. But having the opportunity to have success in 2 years was beyond what I thought. I mean, last year we got to the championship game. We were 12 minutes away from going to the national championship. In year 2, that was my expectation. But that's harder to do than people think because it's a really, really good league. So the impactfulness of being able to mold these guys, and I guess I'll end with this for you. I did everything I know to do on the high school level for 15, 16, 17-year-old guys. Some 18. I poured into them. I invested to them. We won state championships. We went to Elite Eights. We went to Final Fours. We had guys that went to 4-year programs. I think I saw the number the other day. In my career, I've had over 60 guys that have played some type of basketball after high school. So I was able to mold them. But now I wanted to go to the next journey. And I wanted to look at 19, 20, 21, and 22-year-olds. So now you're looking at different life choices that they've got to make. Yep. And I want to be invested in there. And as Dr. Smith has said, the leadership class here, so important for our athletes because it's more than basketball. It's more than football. When these guys leave our program, we want them to be leaders in their churches, leaders in the community. We want them to start their own businesses. We want them to get in Little League sports. We want our players to be successful on and off the court because at the end of the day, that ball's going to quit bouncing. And when it quits bouncing, did I prepare you as your head coach at this college to move on through life? we got great young men that come in, but we want them to leave even better. And when I lay my head on my pillow at nighttime, I got to know I gave Jones College my very best effort, and I'm doing that daily. I want to be better. I'm learning each and every day to be the best coach I possibly can. But I do feel like we have a very, very strong basketball program, and I will say we run our program tight ship. And if you come here, you're going to learn more than just basketball. You're going to learn about life. So that's what I can tell you as far as me being the basketball coach here at Jones College.
Yes, sir. Thank you so much for coming on, Coach. It's a pleasure having you here. You've been listening to Going Off Subject with Ollie Hammonds, a Jones College radio and TV production in association with Free State Records. Of course, in studio today with me was the great producer, Matt McGuffey. And we'll see you next time.